Cobalt Command ability on the Iron Crown's EX, and Raymond's playing a deck that he and his group has played for a while. Definitely now in this rotation, understanding its strength. It is Chein with Excalibur, Rain Dance strategy, putting these water energy into play and allowing you to fire off super powerful attacks.
If I may go on a personal anecdote, it always makes me very happy to see Noah Sawyer on stream. So all the way back in 2017, I had a feature match on stream at Worlds on day one, and I was playing against Noah Sawyer. So he was like the first big feature match I had on stream against him. So seeing him on stream again is always just so nice. It brings back to then. I was Mega Rayquaza against the Vespergren he was playing.
That's a throwback for sure. Well, we'll keep the bias out of this match.
Yeah,
maybe if you have somebody you're favoring a little bit. But speaking of this match, I mean, tell me your first thoughts here, Freya. We've got this Chein deck. I mean, we've come to know, love, and understand this deck for a while now.
So Noah is playing the one copy of the Iron Leaves DX.
Yeah, Iron Leaves, a great card against things that are Dark Weak, like Roaring Moon EX, Charizard EX. 2 rare candy in the prizes for Raymond. I mean, you've got Irida to search it out, but it always gets a little bit risky. Now, Raymond is actually playing 4 copies of that card, so a little bit less of a devastation, but we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, so both of you players are pretty much set up and almost ready to go. They are just ready with your fists waiting for the fist bump to kick things off. And there we go, kicking things off. Raymond going first, Noah going second. It looks like a perfect lead for Noah. It actually leads with the Miraidon.
Yeah, that's why it's here. It's to attack on that first turn. Listen, we lost Path to the Peak, but peak acceleration. Anytime I hear the word peak, I just think I'm going to get ability locked. But here we go. Winner of this match will guarantee a spot in day 2, put themselves at 21 match points, try and keep that momentum up as Raymond will start things off with a Nest Ball. So searching through the deck, having that Bidoof in the active spot, it's not terrible, but these are things you've got to think about of, do you really want to put something like Chein? It's sort of a trade-off early on for a trade-off later. Something like Bidoof can easily be knocked out from booster energy, plus the Cobalt Command abilities on the Iron Crowns. Chein can't, but if you damage it for a little bit, something even like 60 damage, that means later on, Ampu very much can take those 3 prize cards and shift the prize lead back into Noah's favor.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on in that regard. Now, the Raymond setup is going to be quite interesting here because, we do see, like I said, the Nest, or the Buddy Puffet and Nest Ball something. It was the Buddy Puffet, wasn't it, I believe?
It is that Nest Ball. We're gonna see exactly what this grabs, so yeah. Raymond is just checking through all the prize cards, and this looks like potentially just going to be that Frigibax as the choice. Maybe it is that Puffin, actually. I think it looks like it could be any.
It's going to be like an Ultra Blast that's got a Super Rod and
so it's an Earthen Vessel. So
it's an Earthen Vessel.
We're looking at our energy cards right now, and I think Raymond may be sequencing to maybe maximize something like this Pokestop.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to see every card get played. The Nest Ball can potentially find something like Radiant Greninja or Chein, and I actually think Radiant Greninja could be the best Pokemon to retreat into at the end of your turn.
Yeah, I mean, you do potentially risk it getting knocked out for 2 prizes. Of course, it is weak to lightning, so if Noah can do an Ampy very much, then that's not going to be great. But it is, unlike or anything else that Raymond could put out, not vulnerable to a knockout from peak acceleration.
That's true, yep. It's not going to be vulnerable from that. And additionally, the way things work out, I mean, it is still possible to, oh no, it isn't possible. You're just quite a little bit short to knock out this Radiant Greninja, and we're just going to see concealed cards start things off. We'll draw 2 cards. There's an Ultra Ball in the hand, also has that Pokestop, and Raymond's going to spin the wheel, see what this finds. There is a Super Rod get, and that Prime Catcher.
Not bad.
Prime Catcher could be very solid on the following turn to maybe take a knockout onto one of those Iron Crown EXs to put yourself out of that range of being amp you very much. Is this not even a word, amp you very much? Attacked with amp you very much.
Yes.
Or we're making up new words on the stream here. We're really innovating out here.
New phrases all around, but just going to be a pass from Raymond after that, so no 2 prizes going down right now. Of course, don't really need to. Now it's over to Noah Sawyer.
We need some pronunciation classes here. We need to go back to boot camp at this point.
Evidently.
So.
There is a Town Store in hand. Noah does only play one of those. It is like the one-off stadium option. Could use that to search out a Future Booster Energy Capsule and maybe retreat this Miraidon, but it looks like it's going to be, actually going to play that. I'm going to go for that straight away. It's always good to be able to boost your damage up. Now, doesn't need to put down an Iron Crown with this Future Booster Energy Capsule. Will be 60 damage will be enough to knock out this Bidoof, so pretty decent start.
Yeah, so we will see that be the choice, and I think what Noah is debating here is, do I want to play this Research in hand, or do I want to play Arven? On the one hand, grabbing a bunch of cards out of your deck, just drawing into them is very, very solid, but you lose a lot of resources when you're researching away 4 or 5 cards from the hand, and I believe one of those was something like that Electric Generator. That is a card that you are going to probably want for later on, and it looks like Noah thinking, I think, the most wise option here is to just maybe play this just play this Arven, grab something. Oh, but wait, this is actually a good opportunity, I believe, in this situation. Noah understanding that with just one Frigibax coming down into play, we could see peak acceleration with a future booster energy take the knockout on Frigibax, and that will be exactly what Noah does, bringing up the lone Frigibax, preventing any sort of attacking pressure from Raymond on the following turn, and then more importantly, also putting some energy cards into play, which can be great with something like the Iron Leaves later on to maybe take a one-hit knockout.
Yeah, and Raymond reading the future booster engine capsule and the Marauder, perhaps not expecting this play, just a very early aggression. Yeah, you're not getting down any more Pokemon, but if you essentially guaranteed delay the Baxcalibur for a turn, pretty worth it, honestly.
Absolutely. Not only do you get these energy cards into play, but you guarantee that you're going to be taking a knockout on whatever your opponent brings up, or using another peak acceleration to put even more energy cards into play. And Noah's playing plenty of those, so it's no issue to load them up onto this Miraidon.
Yeah, and this is sometimes where it's important to recognize where what looks like a risky play actually isn't, because you look at that and you think, oh, well, you're just going for an aggressive Boss's Orders KO early on, but he's denying his setup. Surely that's bad. But no, in this instance, it absolutely makes sense to go for. It's not a risky play if you're doing a play that can make your opponent basically not able to respond to it easily, because now Raymond's committed to only being able to attach one energy this turn. There's no way to reply to this Miraidon.
Yeah, and with the inability to place things like Rare Candy Baxcalibur, multiple energies, this Bibarel, sure, it gets evolved, but it's really not going to get a lot of value, as we're actually just going to see concealed cards build this hand up even more. Is there something like an Irida to maybe grab multiple of those Frigibax? Your worst nightmare is you get your lone Frigibax knocked out, you put another one into play the following turn, and then that one also gets knocked out.
Yeah, so it looks like there is the Irida there, so I imagine going to find a Buddy Puffin and maybe just like another water Pokemon of some kind. Could even grab a Chempao here, start to have that option for later on, but the Buddy Puffin is going to be the #1 grab, I am absolutely sure.
You could see Baxcalibur get grabbed. I believe there is a Rare Candy in the hand, so that could be a solid grab for the next turn. So, yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of an offset here for Raymond. It does have that Radiant Greninja in the active spot, so if Noah wants to take another prize card this turn, he will not be accelerating more energy into play, and that's the name of the game, because Iron Hands is great, but it's got a pretty hefty attack cost, 3 and 4 energy, and Electric Generator only gets you so far.
Yeah. Did maybe think about grabbing that Iron Bundle as like the water Pokemon option from the Irida? Of course, it's a nice utility option to potentially have. You can just, force something out the active, and maybe this could be a way for Raymond to force Noah to promote a 2-prizer, because we know that, generally speaking, these decks only tend to play, one Miraidon, maybe 2, and the rest of your board is normally then 2-prize Pokemon EX. So maybe in that sense, a Iron Bundle could almost act like a Pokemon catcher in its own regard.
Lots of things to think about, and it really, really will come down to Raymond mapping these prizes out extremely well. Wants to just go 2, 2, and 2 to keep pace. That's why Miraidon is also so good. It just kind of acts as a 7th prize for your opponent to take a lot of the time, and that's really not what you want to be doing, especially when their strategy is to rush you down and take extra prize cards to swing that into their favor.
Oh, and hold on, Raymond, we're talking about, how Noah's deck is the Iron Hand focused deck. Of course, these Chempao lists do tend to play one Iron Hand of their own, and that is defined off of the Nest Ball there for Raymond.
Sort of maybe taunting Noah a little bit, saying, hey, look, if you decide that you want to knock out one of these Pokemon on my bench, maybe something like the Greninja, or you want to chase after another Frigibax again, I'm going to come at you with Iron Hands. I'm going to even things up here at 4 prizes.
Yeah, that's the Pokestop coming down as well, so now Noah's not going to be able to replace Dames anymore. Looks like that's a Nest Ball and a Superior Energy Retrieval off of the Pokestop. Pokestop treating Raymond quite well right now. Usually only 1 out of 3 from each of them there being a card that you can't get, so feeling pretty happy about that.
Yeah, was that Irida, though, hitting the discard pile? It's really not what you want to see, but there's a trade-off for everything, so Raymond's just going to pass the turn over, but this board looks excellent. You've got multiple Frigibax into play, you've got the Bibarels. Noah will kick things off with an Arven. So can search the deck out for a tool card and an item, and I think Noah's just going to take this opportunity to now just put some more energy cards into play. We'll see this Techno Radar possibly grab 2 Iron Hands, and I like this active play from Noah, not putting Iron Crowns to play if he doesn't need it, because I think he understands that later on in the game, if I can go for that play where I have all 4 Iron Crowns available and I can knock Chien-Pao out, that would be a huge swing to close things out.
Yeah, and you don't need Iron Crown right now to take KOs on things. So, like you said, absolutely, it makes sense to just prioritize the Iron Hands instead, because you really just want to be able to chain attack as much as possible. And I mean, in this situation, you're feeling pretty fine to just take a KO with the peak. The peak acceleration would be enough, but you can use, of course, Miraidon's second attack, and that will be enough to knock out the Greninja, and then just have the Iron Crowns ready to go next turn.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to what this Electric Generator. If this can grab 2 energies, I think Noah is in an excellent spot, can maybe just get aggressive and take a knockout onto this Radiant Greninja. So let's see, 5 cards. Do we see?
Yes!
And does find double energy.
Wow.
Powering up this Iron Hands EX, and this is going to be the big question for Noah now. Do you really need to accelerate these 2 energy? You won't be taking a prize card. The damage is pretty much irrelevant onto the Radiant Greninja. It will always be knocked out by anything the Iron Hands does. Iron Hands could sneeze on this Radiant Greninja and it would be knocked out.
What
a Pokestop finds another electric generator. Yes, the booster energy capsule is the discard pile, but what are we going to see? Do we see any more energy cards? And does find one. And I think because this second generator hit an energy, Noah, because he understands this Chein deck is typically not playing things like Lost Vacuum to get rid of tool cards, can safely put this heavy baton onto this Iron Hands and take a knockout with this Miraidon. Actually just going to retreat and use that arm press attack to knock out this Radiant Greninja, put this Iron Hands on the active spot and say, look, you've got to find a lot of pieces here to knock me out. And if you do that, I'm going to be able to power up my benched Iron Hands and have this Miraidon still able to take a 2-prize knockout onto your Chein Pao. Excellent hits here from Noah, putting himself in a great spot here in game 1.
Yeah, this is so clever because now you deny really Raymond that option of being able to take a 2-prize knockout with the Iron Hands onto the Miraidon. Now you're putting out this 230 HP EX of your own, and all of a sudden Raymond now has to find even more pieces to take a return knockout. And yeah, like you said, even if he finds all those pieces, the energy is to go onto the other Iron Hands and he just carries on attacking anyway.
Yeah, and that Iron Bundle that Raymond grabbed is just really not going to have a lot of value because Noah is more than happy to just put up that Iron Hands with no energy. If it's not knocked out, Booster Energy Capsule can allow it to retreat with that hefty 4 retreat cost, and if it is knocked out, then you've still got everything in play that you want to. Arm Press is online, you've got still all your Iron Crowns in deck. This is looking very nice for Noah. I think Noah has understood what he needs to do in this matchup, capitalizing on that single Frigivax put down. So Raymond will just continue developing the board, second pit barrel coming into play, but it's really going to be a choice of A, what attack are you able to put together, and B, how do you respond to whatever Noah is going to attack you back with? The big question is, even if you use like Chein Pao and then you use something like Iron Hands, can Noah just knock both of those Pokemon out with something like Arm Press and that Miraidon second attack?
Oh, but we do see there the Prime Catcher gonna, bring up that kind of denial play that Noah tried to do, and instead just go to preemptive Prime Catcher, draw a bunch off this barrel. Does he find the piece together, the knockout? I'm not sure if that'll get him there.
I think with that superior energy retrieval, if there's 3 energy in the discard pile, let's take a look.
That's the thing, I'm not sure if there are. I think there's only 2. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
needed one more.
He's short and has already used the Pokestop, so can't discard cards from the deck to hope to find these energy. And it's just going to be this Prime Catcher A-Spec essentially wasted, used for no effect to bring this Miraidon up, and this Iron Hands can't even retreat, so it's just kind of stuck in the active spot. It can put some energy cards on the bench, but this is going to be another huge advantage here for Noah, and this has even more tempo in this first game.
And you can't even arm press, of course. Oh wait, there was a Pokestop not used?
Maybe the Pokestop was...
Yeah, it wasn't. Okay.
I was thinking to myself, is there a chance? And I think this is going to be what it comes down to at this point. We're going to see the Ultra Ball get played, I believe Nest Ball. We can see one more Pokemon come down, and it's literally going to come down to this, Freya.
Yeah.
If Raymond does not find something like an Earthen Vessel or something maybe like... I mean, Chein Pao's just not a great attacker to use, so I think it's going to just come down to this. Hold on, I think we're just making sure that our abilities have been used. So, sorry about that, a little bit of miscommunication. So, we're not over yet. Raymond still can draw 3 cards here. Do we see a Water Energy? And we do.
Okay, so there we go.
Raymond is in an okay spot. It felt like he was a little bit short on what he had done this turn, so still plenty of things to work with, and it will just be the energy found and can still use Pokestop to potentially keep his turn going.
Yeah, so... free cards on top. See what Raymond finds out of this Pokestop. So you have Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, and 3 hits off the Pokestop. Wow, Raymond is firing on all cylinders with this Pokestop right now.
That is gold right there. It pretty much just read draw 3 for Raymond at that point. Just put all those items in my hand and don't really need any Pokemon necessarily, but this is more than fine. We see the superior energy retrieval that will potentially just discard some of these items that were found off Pokestop, essentially acting as a free discard, if that. And it's just going to be 2 of those Ultra Ball being discarded. And see the Lightning Energy grabbed, attached return, and then Shivery Chill will put those final 2 Water Energy onto this Iron Hands EX, and there it is. Amp you very much. Raymond responding back 4 prizes each, but there is just that Iron Hands EX already powered up in the hand. Potentially able to knock out this Iron Hands EX. We'll need to find a bit of a good amount of cards here. That's sort of the issue, because there is that heavy baton. You're only dealing 160 damage. 3 Iron Crowns will not be enough.
No, you need the full
knockout.
4.
Yeah, so here we go. Raymond, or Noah, looking for a different supporter card. Very interesting inclusion. We see that Penny.
Ooh,
not a card we see a
okay.
lot into this Iron Crowns EX deck.
No, absolutely not. So definitely an uncommon choice. But I mean, just as an option to pick up an Iron Hand, say if it gets damaged, like not all the way, but just like a little bit short. Suddenly, you can undo a turn of damage. It's just a very great utility card in general. So the inclusion does make sense, even if it's a little bit unorthodox.
So Noah's really got to think about, where do I attach this energy card this turn? And we're just going to see Pokestop used again. Techno Raider, switch card, Generator. What
on earth?
This is not a deck necessarily built to benefit off Pokestop. You've got a lot of cards you don't want to discard, high supporter counts, these tool cards, but Noah just getting rewarded in full. Now able to bench double Iron Crowns, and is this a time where Noah tries to go for that quad Iron Hands bench and be able to knock out the opposing Iron Hands with Arm Press? You've got to imagine that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, as I recall, there weren't any Iron Crown in the prizes, were there? Not that I recall, no. So yeah, if we can find another Techno Radar, they absolutely can do this. Legendary Generator finds, again, 1 energy. Again, respectable. It's not bad. You don't really need any more, but just having more as the option for later on is always great. And just filling that deck more of energy, getting your Iron Hands powered up. We do see another heavy baton in the hand as well, so that could maybe be good to Chein even more if you wanted to.
You really don't need to from this point. I think you've kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
So here we go. Big 7 cards. If Noah can find Arven, he can guarantee this 2 last Iron Crowns, and he does find the Arven, and will instantly play it to grab that Techno Radar and another one of those future booster energy capsules. Even just going to go for the Prime Catcher. Who needs 4 Iron Crown? You can just Prime Catcher up something like this barrel on the bench, attach for turn, and use Ampu very much to not only lock these energies on the Iron Hands EX, but also take out one of those support Pokemon.
I mean, forget Barrel. You can, with the amount of Iron Crown you have in play, you can actually just KO the Baxcalibur with Ampu very much.
That's true, yes, of course, adding that damage, 20 more for each Iron Crowns EX, thanks to that Cobalt Command ability. And it will be the Baxcalibur coming into the active spot. Ampu very much. It was scary when it was 120 damage. It's 160 now. Baxcalibur will go down. Noah will go to 2 prize cards left. And Raymond is just going to concede. He cannot come back from this spot. Noah goes up in game 1.
And that game was a phenomenal demonstration of just how frightening this Iron Hands focused future deck can be. When you're just dealing with something that can not only do a lot of damage, but then take extra prizes as you're doing it, it is absolutely terrifying to go up against, especially when it gets going the way it did in that game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this misconception sometimes that, and I even have it sometimes too, that Iron Crowns is an easy deck. You just attack with Miraidon, you power Pokemon up, but Noah really sequenced everything extremely well. He had a game plan every turn of what he wanted to use. He had fallback plans. He understood, hey, if my generators don't hit, I've got this line to go for, and it all worked out for Noah. Did get a little bit lucky off that Pokestop. It definitely helped things out, but yeah, gotta really give credit for Noah in that first game. Played it out beautifully, and even though Raymond had a little bit of a slower start, missed that Frigivax, it seemed that there was potential to come back, had the Prime Catcher Iron Hands, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, so taking a look back, we saw right at the start that Raymond was already a little bit on the back foot with the double rare candy prize, but yeah, the Pokestops really going well for both players, to be honest. I think both of them hitting very, very well, but Noah especially hitting things, not even playing the Pokestop, but just getting all the benefit from it. And yeah, with that early knockout on the Greninja, setting up nicely for the 2-2 prize map. We did see the Prime Catcher there onto the Miraidon, and that was of course great for Raymond, was able to piece together an Iron Hands KO with that, but then Noah just had the response straight away.
I'm excited to see what game 2 is going to bring. We'll see if Raymond actually chooses. So this Jimpao deck, a lot of the time it likes to go first, but Raymond, sort of as a counterplay to Noah, will actually be opting to go second here in this set. How do you feel about that?
I guess Raymond is just thinking, you know what? I don't like Miraidon attacking turn 1. So I think I'd rather just, let my opponent go first, and maybe that way, if I go second, I can play an Irid on my turn 1 and get myself that Buddy Pop in, and that way I can set up 2 Frigibacks, and I'm not worried about what happened in game 1 happening again.
Wow, double Irida prized and that Iron Hands.
Oh.
There is Heavy Ball to fetch that out, but those Iridas not having access to them early on could definitely hurt Raymond's setup in this second game.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to be seeing, especially when you're going for the strategy of going second, right? The whole point is that you want to get Irida turn 1, but it's just an attached pass from Noah.
Yeah, that's really all you need to do here. You can't play a supporter card, and honestly, it's kind of fine to get that extra energy drop down.
Yeah, I guess
Things
so.
are pretty much going to act the same. You know you're always going to be attacking before your opponent does. All of this really gives for Raymond is the ability to just, as you said, have a stronger setup, play Irida, maybe just get that perfect board when you've got double Frigibax down, double Bidoof down, and then 2 Pokemon if you're choosing, like Radiant Greninja, Chein, you name it.
Yeah. And with that first nest ball, Raymond, going to take a look through again at the prizes, going to notice that, the Irida numbers are a little bit awkward there, and the Iron Hands is also in the prizes, so Raymond won't have access to that for now. We did see it become quite relevant, of course, in Game 1, able to carry that Miraidon with it, so even though it's the only single prizer in Noah's deck, it's still a very relevant option to have to kind of make sure you keep up that 2-2-2 race.
So this is Nest Ball, so we could see something like Radiant Greninja, card that cannot be grabbed off Buddy Poffin, or the Chein. Chein getting into play. We saw Raymond was very hesitant to ever put that down. Never benched a Chein in Game 1. Makes me question if we'll just not see that Pokemon come down until maybe the end of the game where it can take a big knockout with Hailblade.
Yeah, and there's an Earthen Vessel, interestingly enough, as well. So going to use that to grab 2 more Water Energy, just fin that more and more. I do believe I saw a Buddy Poffin in hand. Oh, there's a Hisuian Heavy Ball. Okay.
Yeah, so this is an interesting choice here for Raymond. He's got a few Pokemon in the prize cards, so what do you value getting off of this Hisuian Heavy Ball? Is it, again, that Iron Hands? Could you go without Iron Hands this match? My instinct is telling me it's going to be really hard if you don't have access to Ampy very much.
Yeah, I guess so, but that really does only deal with the Miraidon, so maybe you think to yourself, you know what, I can grab myself the Frigibax here, and that way I can Buddy Poffin for a second Frigibax and something else. Maybe you want to grab that Chien-Pao, but you did just mention that, Game 1, he was reluctant to bench it, but it looks like he was thinking about going for it here, and yeah, he does.
So it looks like a little bit of an adjustment for Raymond. It is hard to play this deck without that Shivery Chill ability, so crucial at getting your energy cards. We saw how close Raymond was to not having the energies needed, and that's what happens when you don't use Shivery Chill early on in the game.
Yeah, they just sort of really started for Engine, was able to eventually find his way back, but Raymond is now going to be able to confirm that, 2 Irida in the prizes. Not great, especially when you are going second, but still able to find a pretty decent setup without the Irida, to be honest, so he's got to be feeling pretty happy about that.
Absolutely, grab some more energy cards, concealed card it away, draw some more cards. This Chien-Pao is not getting knocked out to a peak acceleration on the following turn. So still plenty of action. I'm sure Raymond would like to get down some more of these basic Pokemon. If there's maybe something like a Buddy Poffin. It looks like we're just going to see another Nest Ball. So at minimum, this is, I think, another choice that Raymond has to make here of, do I want to get down a second Frigibax, really eliminate the chance of Game 1 repeating itself, or do I get Bidoof down, and it's just going to be, again, lone Frigibax? Does Noah have the potential to maybe go, oh, this is actually really scary here. If Noah had a piece like a Miraidon or a Techno Radar in hand, then we could have seen Prime Catcher target down the Frigibax. So Raymond playing a little bit risky, but in a matchup that a lot of people would consider unfavored, this is sort of the risk that you have to take in this spot. Noah will just play down that Arven, instantly grabbing that Techno Radar to the top of the deck and that future booster energy capsule. And we'll start to see these Iron Hands EX get powered up.
Yeah, no way, unfortunately, I think based on Noah doing that, I don't think there's a way you can get a KO on the Frigibax at this point, but at this point, you don't want to go in for some all-in gamble play that doesn't work. You want to sort of set up nicely, and with the Techno Radar, you can get yourself there, you can get the Miraidon, and you can attach more energies to your Iron Hands. It's where you want to be.
I think just considering what does the rest of this look like, what cards do I want to discard? Now, there is an electric generator in hand, but I think with the amount of Pokemon that are available, we can't really see an arm press knockout onto this Chien-Pao. So we're just going to see, it looks like, okay, again, Noah making these adjustments in this game and really just trying to play around the prize trade and make it so that Raymond has to play that 7 prize game again, where he's got to maybe take one more knockout than he would like to close out a game.
Yeah, just going to get both Miraidons out, why not? And with that Future Booster Energy Capsule, going to be able to retreat that bulky Iron Hand for free, attaching the Lightning Energy there. And actually, this could set up the Chien-Pao very nicely to be more easily knocked out with an Ampy very much from the Iron Hands.
Speaking of Iron Hands, 2 energy off that electric generator being put onto that Iron Hands EX. And with this Future Booster Energy Capsule, if Noah decides to play that down, will not, but that's more than okay. Sets Chien-Pao up into the range later on. We'll just see that peak acceleration He's going to put an energy onto this Miraidon. Don't forget, Sparking Strike does do 160 damage, and that's before it gets boost, so it's the same thing as Arm Press, essentially.
Yeah, this is the exact reason why you play just one Psychic Energy in this deck. I mean, I guess it also does potentially open up the Iron Crown attack, or is that it's only one Psychic Energy class,
it's
isn't
2
it?
colors and a Psychic Energy. It doesn't get boosted by its own Cobalt command, but it's a good option to have against decks maybe like Snorlax that want to bring it to the active spot, so it does have a lot of utility.
Yeah, so the one Psychic Energy there, putting in a lot of work, and yeah, that Sparking Strike as well, like 160 damage on a single prizer is a phenomenal stuff, especially because you can also boost that with the Cobalt command.
And let's not forget here for Raymond, did prize 2 copies of that Iridus, so he's really going to be potentially having a bit of a struggle to get rare candy Baxcalibur plus more this turn, especially having a few water energies in hand. You got to balance drawing cards with that concealed cards with also maximizing the barrel, and this is where Raymond's sequencing, Raymond's practice with this deck is really going to come into play.
Absolutely it is, and he's going to want to try and play around this Miraidon, of course. I think one of the reasons why Noah decided to bench 2 Miraidon, of course, with that Iron Bundle that Noah knows that Raymond plays, you do have, if there was just the Iron Hands out, then essentially the Iron Bundle could act like a Prime Catcher to bring up the Iron Hands, but now it kind of forces Raymond to have a Gusting card instead of the Iron Bundle to take a 2-prize knockout.
So we'll see how things go down. We will see the Shivery Chill, it looks like. Just going to shuffle the deck up, so we're more than content to just try and draw as many cards as possible. We can see 2 cards with the barrel, and then Greninja draw even more, plus an attachment to thin the hand out, and looks like that will be the line here from Raymond. So, energy attachment for turn. Just considering, can I burn anything else? It will actually just be the Super Rod played, so putting these water energies in the deck, it's a little bit of a trade-off. Yes, you draw 1 more card off the barrel, but water energies are not really what Raymond wants to see on this turn.
Yeah, no, it really isn't. So Super Rod are going to put some of those energies back into the deck. Or was that milled off? Was that discarded off an Ultra Ball?
No, that was Super Rod putting it back in.
Yeah.
So there is a Baxcalibur in the hand, and we do see one of those 2 copies of Irida found off the Industrious Incisors.
Very important find.
Is big.
Yeah, and then concealed cards off good measure. Have to find that water energy finds another big barrel, but there's only 1 Bidoof down this time, so not going to be able to evolve that. But so with the Irida there, and now we're going to do the Shivery Chill, actually.
Lots of...
No, can't get superior energy retrieval off that, unfortunately.
Just imagine, anything that has energy in its text, you just get to grab it off Shivery Chill. All right, that's a good idea. Creatures, if you're listening, maybe that would be a fun... No, that would actually be...
Yeah, don't. Just
don't do it, don't do it.
No.
You know what? I think the motto for this weekend is, if I have an idea, don't listen to me. Unless it's Dialga, then maybe listen to me. So we'll see exactly what happens here. And a great find off of that Pokestop. 2 more item cards to add to the hand.
Yeah, but Buddy Puffin and that Ultra Ball, just more search options, more options to discard for superior energy retrieval as well, of course. You only really need the Buddy Puffin in the early stages. Actually, going to play it, though. Going to find himself, that second Bidoof, of course. This is one really interesting thing about this Chein Pao list. There is a free Bibarel line in here.
Yeah, really valuing Industrious Incisors to just draw cards, just get through the deck. It's probably the strongest support that you can play in Chein Pao, so why not have it consistently drawing you cards? Speaking of getting some cards out of the deck, there is that rare candy Baxcalibur already in the hand, and here we go. Raymond has established his support Pokemon, the barrel, and now that Super Cold is online. The question now for Raymond, I think, just comes down to what do you want to attack with, and with this Chein Pao having 3 energy cards onto it, I think we have our answer for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to just be an attack onto the active with the Chein Pao. It's not ideal. You're only taking 1 prize, but there is another 1 prize you could take a knockout on later on. So it's not ideal, but it's fine.
So this Chein Pao has 180 HP left. So we'll see what is found. Now, Arvin would be very solid in this spot, but the big issue is there is no energy attachment for Noah, and because this Iron Hands has that future booster energy, it means that when it's knocked out, no energy cards will be moved to this bench Pokemon, and we're going to see another Pokestop. Okay, does find the generator, though, so that could totally change things, especially with that Iron Hands EX in the hand. He's more than happy to get down. We'll finally hit the board.
Hits the floor and then hits the board. Here's electric generator. 5 cards. Is there going to be a couple of lightning energy? There's 1.
Yeah, it's kind of an instance where you see that grass energy and you ask yourself, yeah, if that was 1 more lightning energy, this would be really, really solid. But it's, again, one of those decisions you have to make. But still, getting that energy card is great for Noah. But with him shuffling the deck and with how important it is to get this energy drop, I think that we might actually just be seeing an Iono get played and hoping to draw into 2 of these Iron Crowns EX to use that Amp You very much for 180 damage.
Yeah, that's exactly going to be what he's going for. Heavy baton going onto the benched Iron Hands, and maybe going to attach a few other future booster. No, we're going to leave it in hand. Yeah, oh no, it's going to attach it. Okay, there was a bit of a debate there. You don't know if you want to save it, but going to attach it, play the INO, and now it's going to be, can Noah find the energies to pull off this attack?
So 6 cards for Noah,
And
5 for Raymond.
Oh, there's
See
one.
if there is.
There's 2.
And finds both Iron Crowns. Who needs Techno Radar when you can just draw into the Pokemon that you want, and even has another Electric Generator. But the big miss there, Freya, is there's no energy card in this hand. So without having that energy, it means that Noah will be short of being able to take a knockout onto Chein. I mean, 3 prize cards here would have been super important. May have to just resort to using something like Arm Press in this situation.
Yeah, it doesn't feel ideal. I mean, again, it's better than nothing, but when you were so close to a 3 prize knockout, it's got to feel really, really bad. There is an Electric Generator, but even if you get energy off this, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, hitting 2 energy here would have been nice because at least you can attack with the heavy baton Iron Hands, so that way you preserve your future booster energy capsule for later on. Unfortunately, though, that grass energy kind of taunting Noah a little bit, saying, yeah, you can't attach me. How does it feel? How does it feel?
Yeah, not great, I imagine, is the answer there. But yeah, 3 Iron Crown going down there, and going to be just the Arm Press after that, and 2 prizes taken, which is still a really, really decent turn. Let's not get it twisted here.
Not bad at all. We saw Raymond, of course, get that hand Iono to the bottom of the deck. See what Raymond can put together, but I think he's more than happy with this Iron Hands EX in the active spot, and Super Cold ability still online. Know that their Chein is available. It was grabbed off of the Hisuian Heavy Ball, so there should still be 1 more left in the deck. Let's see how Raymond plays through this turn.
It's going to be a lot of digging, I imagine. We saw Industrious Incisors use a great effect in the last game, even though Raymond didn't end up winning. That's I think following the Andre Scubal train of thought, if you want to win Worlds, play the barrel. It's they're following that to the extreme. Pokestop being fired off there. Does have to get rid of that Siphon Maniac, but does find a Superior Energy Retrieval and a Super Rod.
I think Raymond is more than happy with that. Does need to find 4 energy cards to take this knockout, and now having Ultra Ball and that Superior Energy Retrieval means that those energy cards will be available, especially after this Radiant Greninja retreats out of the active into what I presumably assume will be either another Bibarel or that Chein finally coming down.
Yeah, it's got to be right. After, at long last, being able to put it down and attack with it after the first one just got knocked out. Yeah, definitely more of a Chein focus in this game compared to game 1. And yeah, there indeed, it does come down to second one going down there.
It is the namesake of your deck.
It is.
You got to use your partner Pokemon in this case, and for this tournament, Raymond is sticking along with our favorite Ice-type Pokemon for a lot, that Chein will hit the board. This Radiant Greninja can retreat, and of course Shivery Chill can find any remaining energy, or could even use something like the Super Rod that's in hand to then grab energies with Shivery Chill. So Raymond has really put himself in a solid position, I'm sure is breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief, especially when there was no Amp You very much for 4 prize cards for 3 prize cards, excuse me, the previous turn.
Yeah, definitely a sort of missed opportunity for Noah and a sigh of relief for Raymond there. Just missing the 1 energy. There's the 1 piece I was missing to pull that off. So Raymond bought a little bit more time and feels a little bit more comfortable benching his Chein because were it not for that, you could just see Noah do like a free prize map, which is kind of insane.
We will see the Super Rod get played, putting the Chein and 2 energy cards into the deck. And I mean, if you're Raymond here, I think honestly retreating now and just grabbing those out is not necessarily bad. I think if you have 1 more water energy, then it's probably worth not using the Shivery Chill. Of course, Raymond has more information than we do at this point, and it will just be Industrious Incisors for 1 card. So build the hand up to be hopefully a card I'm sure that he's hoping can just be discarded, but it is that water energy that was most likely put back in with that Super Rod.
When you put cards back into the deck, the odds are that you can draw back into them, but it's fine in this instance, right? Ultimately, you just want to be able to pick up a knockout. You're not afraid of Noah winning the game next turn. There's no way for Noah to take 4 prizes, so you just want to carry on your game plan. Yeah, load out that Chein and just to get this Iron Hands knocked out.
So Greninja finally retreating into that Chein and Shivery Chill can grab the remaining water energies out of the deck. There is just 1. So that will just be put back onto, presumably, the Greninja, just as a way to pivot out the following turn. But maybe Raymond is thinking, maybe my opponent's target next turn is not the Chein. Maybe they're going to try and go after a different Pokemon, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Noah to a great effect using Amp very much to carry the Baxcalibur to kind of just make Raymond instantly concede. Maybe Raymond thinking that Noah's going to go for that again. We do see the second Industrious Incisors now coming in. There's but like after that, yeah, just going to go for that Hail Blade, knocking out the Iron Hands. No Heavy Baton there, so all the energy is going to go to the discard pile. And speaking of energy, Noah's hand is full of it right now.
This could be a big Poke Gear. Really looking for an impactful supporter card. And there's a few choices. Has Arvin and that Professor's Research. And we may actually be spinning the wheel here, not with Pokestop, but with one of those remaining Electric Generator cards. And I think that's what Noah is maybe thinking about. Or finding something like the Nest Ball. If there's a way to deal enough damage to this Chein Pow to take a knockout, I think that it's okay to not have to amp here. And I think Noah agrees with me. Just grab this Techno Radar, get another Iron Hands, and because there is no way to remove the Heavy Baton off of Noah's Iron Hands EX, it means the second one that just hit the bench will be powered up after it is inevitably knocked out.
Yeah, and this makes a lot of sense, right? Especially because I think the amount of energy in the deck was so low, just taking the gamble on the Electric Generator just isn't worth it. So instead, just shore up your KO here, shore up your next follow-up attack. Like you just said, you know that the Heavy Baton isn't going to be removed. You can just go very easily 2-2-2 price map and just have your last KO be Amp You Very Much on something on Raymond's bench.
Yeah, this is really tough because for Raymond, you're in a spot where you almost don't want to let that fourth Iron Crowns come down so that it can take a knockout with Amp You Very Much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you don't take knockouts on the Pokemon, then Noah's just going to play a Boss's Orders or Prime Catcher and take those final two prize cards with his own Amp You Very Much. So we're sort of in this weird end game where both players have to figure out what attacks they want to use, not necessarily to win the game, but to limit their opponent's options to close things out.
Raymond actually picking up the Iron Hand to give it a read. Now he does play the card himself, so I'm wondering what was he looking at with that? What's going through his head?
You know, sometimes people are hands-on learners, so they've got to touch the card a little bit. Raymond doesn't quite have access to it, does have it still in the prizes, did find that Hisuian Heavy Ball, so at any point during this turn, Raymond can grab that Iron Hands EX. So I'm trying to think at this spot, maybe the only way that you're able to potentially close things out is if, but the math just really doesn't work out, and this is why Cobalt Command makes Iron Hands EX such a threat. They are partners in crime.
Yeah, you don't, unlike Noah with Raymond, with that Iron Hands, you don't have the damage boost. It's 120 maximum with that Amp You Very Much. You really can't get there. You can't even arm press really because you only play the one lightning energy. So literally just is there for like the 120 damage Amp You Very Much. So it looks like it's going to be Irida grabbing Rare Candy and the Chein Pow again. And maybe is Raymond thinking, I just need to hope that I can, I mean, I don't.
It doesn't feel like a checkmate, but it's a very strong board for Noah. I'm thinking for Raymond, no matter what Pokemon you knock out, Noah potentially has a response. If you knock it out,
exactly.
Bench Iron Crowns EX, then no matter if you use a one prizer or two prizer, Arm Press or Amp You Very Much will take those final prize cards. If you try and knock out the other Iron Hands EX, well, nothing changes. And if you knock out Miraidon, then, I mean, Noah's more than happy with that too. So it feels like no matter what Raymond can do, this Heavy Baton preserving the energies will put Noah in an excellent spot to just attach or play something like Boss's Orders to close the game out next turn.
Yeah. So Ultra Ball grabs the other Baxcalibur, again, just for good measure. Just thin out the deck so you can draw as many cards as possible, but there is no disruption for Raymond to dig for here, so it really just is a matter of trying to figure out what the best KO to take is, as you just mentioned, but there really is no good KO to take here. That's the problem.
Yeah, it seems like the doors are closing in on Raymond no matter what Pokemon you attack with. It seems like Noah's got answers, and I think Raymond's just got to think about what is the best Pokemon attack to use to hope my opponent doesn't have one of several outs. And it is just going to be that Prime Catcher bringing up the Chein Pow, but at this point, as long as Noah has one more of these Iron Crowns, I think this is the best play for Raymond. This is the hardest thing to find is an Iron Crowns compared to an energy card in this case.
Wait, but doesn't Noah already have one in hand after the last Techno Radar?
Not sure if there is one.
I think
Maybe
he does.
Noah does still have one of those Iron Crowns EXs.
Yeah, it is. It's there.
And it is in the hand, so as long as Raymond just takes the knockout, which it looks like he's going to do, then Noah will be able to bench that third or fourth and final Iron Crowns to allow Arm Press to secure himself a spot into day two. Wait to see how everything's playing out, but it looks pretty grim here for Raymond.
Yeah, it's just Noah playing phenomenally here. As you mentioned, not quite a checkmate, but like near enough. Just kind of, you're playing around every single out that Raymond could have to come back into this game, and just playing absolutely phenomenally in both of these games. It's, we don't want to, say anything before the game's actually over. Of course, Raymond still has to finish for his turn, but at this point, it does very much look like it's Noah going to be favored to take this game and make his way into day two.
So that super cold ability, throwing the water energies onto the Chein Pao, we're just going to see one more put on for good measure, and Raymond's going to do everything he can.
Noah just put the Guiding Crown to the front of his hand already. Like, he's ready. He's literally just going to go promote, bench, attack, win. That's his game plan.
I mean, that's that feeling, right? I'm sure Vance Kelly felt that when he was just holding on to the cards to win the game the last turn. And here we go. Hail Blade knockout, but we know Noah Sawyer has the pieces to close this game out. There's the 4th Iron Crowns, and Arm Press deals just enough damage to knock out Chein Pao EX, and Noah Sawyer will advance to day 2 and more, 7-1 at EUIC.
A phenomenal performance from Noah. Maybe he could make his way all the way to the finals again. Redemption at LAIC, you know, maybe made his way all the way to the finals, but then fell at the final hurdle. Could this be Noah's chance to redeem himself and go all the way to the win?